Canned tuna may look a little gnarly, but with a little care, you can turn it into something absolutely delicious. And I'm gonna show you how to do it because today we're making 3 canned tuna recipes in under 10 minutes. We'll be making an Asian-inspired tuna rice bowl, a double-stack tuna cheeseburger, and a tuna dip from Mr. Alright, Matthew McConaughey. All these recipes are made with just a regular can of tuna. They're made in under 10 minutes and they're so easy to make, even you can do it. So follow along and let's get to cooking. Now our first tuna recipe will be our tuna rice bowl, and this is actually the fastest of the 3 recipes, so don't blink. You'll first crack open a can of tuna and then squeeze and drain the oil or water out of it. I know this may look a little gnarly, but just bear with me because it's going to start looking much more appetizing very soon. You'll toss your drained tuna into a small bowl and then throw in 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, half a teaspoon of chili crisp, 1 tablespoon of Kewpie Mayo, and half a tablespoon of Sriracha. Mix everything together, making sure to break up your tuna, and then I'll toss in 1 tablespoon of green onions before giving it its final mixing. By the end, it should look something like this, significantly more appetizing and full of very simple yet delicious flavors. Now that our tuna is ready, I'm going to very quickly prepare our rice. I'm using these 1-minute microwave rice packets. I could make my rice from scratch, but that'll take significantly longer, and this is supposed to be a quick meal. A minute later, once our rice is cooked, I'm going to throw it down into a bowl, making sure to fluff it up with a spoon. I'll then lay down our tuna on one side of our bowl, followed by fried shallots on the other side of the bowl, and our remaining green onions along the middle. Now this bowl is like 95% done, but it does need a little bit of acidity to add that mouth-watering effect, so we'll be adding some pickled ginger in there as well. And I'll also add 3 more dots of Kewpie Mayo as well as 1 drop of Sriracha just for a little extra aesthetic, and you're done. You have a beautiful tuna rice bowl that took less than 5 minutes to make, and it's absolutely full of mouth-watering flavor that'll tingle every single one of your taste buds. This is personally one of my favorite go-to meals that I eat at home all the time, and it never seems to disappoint me. But moving on from there, for our next tuna meal, we'll be making a tuna cheeseburger that also has a quick chili crisp miso mayo. You'll first toss 2 cans of drained tuna into a medium bowl. From there, you'll pour half a cup of panko breadcrumbs, a strong pinch of salt, 10 to 15 cranks of black pepper, 1 finely minced shallot that's been washed. And if you don't know how to mince a shallot, I got you. You'll cut the tip off, leaving just the root intact, and then split the shallot in half, peeling off the outside layer. I'll then carefully cut vertically along the whole shallot up until the root, and then I'll chop the shallot normally until all that's left is the root, which you can discard that part. If your knife skills aren't strong and it's not minced enough, no worries. Just run your knife through it 3 to 5 more times until it's properly minced. I'm also going to quickly run these shallots through cold water just to remove some of the harshness from it, and that's it. Back to our bowl, we'll next throw in 1 tablespoon of minced Italian parsley, which to mince is even faster than the shallots. Just rip off a small piece of Italian parsley and then run your knife through it around 5 times or until it's fully minced. After our parsley, we'll crack in 1 egg followed by 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 3 to 4 cloves of crushed garlic. I used a garlic crusher to make it easier and faster, but you can also just use a knife as well. And now it's time to get our hands dirty. I'm going to mix everything together by hand until it's fully homogenized like this. I'll then split the mixture into 4 sections and begin rolling each of those sections into a ball with my hands. To form them into patties, I'll grab one of my balls and then begin squishing and rotating it in my hands into a burger shape. Try to keep the pressure relatively even and use your thumbs to push the edges in on the patty so it's a uniform shape. Once done, I should have 4 patties that are ready to pan fry. Speaking of which, I'll grab my frying pan and bring it to medium-high heat, and I'll pour in just enough oil to cover the bottom. Once hot, I'll lay down 2 of our tuna patties, searing them for 2.5 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes later, I'll give them a flip, and as you can see, a beautiful crust has formed on them. I'm gonna lay down 1 slice of sharp cheddar cheese on one of the patties and then fry this side for another 2.5 to 3 minutes. Once the time is up, I'll stack our tuna patties on top of one another and begin toasting our bread. Now, technically, you should be toasting your bread first, but I'm a human being and I make mistakes, so we're toasting the bread now. I'm gonna throw down a knob of butter, and make sure your butter doesn't have any paper still on it like mine, or you will accidentally burn your finger. I'll get our burger buns in there and toast them to 30 for 45 seconds on medium-high heat. Once they're nicely toasted like this, it's now time to build our burger. On our bottom bun, I'm gonna lay down a light layer of our chili crisp miso mayo, and hold on a minute, I gotta show you how to make that. In a small bowl, you'll throw in 1/3 of a cup of mayo, followed by half a teaspoon of red miso paste and 1/4 teaspoon of chili crisp. Give that a solid mixing, and now you have a beautiful chili crisp miso mayo that'll knock your taste buds out. Back to our burger. After laying down our mayo, I'm gonna next lay down some butter lettuce, letting the mayo hold it together. From there, I'm gonna carefully lower down our double-decker tuna burger with the melted cheese, and then I'll spread another layer of our mayo before crowning it with our top bun, and you're done. You now have a very filling but still light tuna cheeseburger that's full of flavor. I don't know how much protein is in this sucker, but I would imagine there's a decent bit. If anyone can do the math, please let me know in the comment section below. Now let's get moving on our last tuna meal, which is our tuna dip, which apparently this is Matthew McConaughey's recipe, so all right. That was so dumb. Oh my God, I hated that. Now, he mentions this recipe on a podcast, but he doesn't go into details. So the recipe I'm using is from a website called All Recipes. I'll link it down below in case you guys want to check it out. But in a small bowl, you're going to throw in half a cup of mayo, followed by 2 teaspoons of white wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of wasabi paste, which, fun fact, I don't think wasabi tastes spicy at all. That being said, I do really like it. From there, I'll pour in 2 teaspoons of an Italian dressing, 3 tablespoons of a finely chopped red onion, which to chop, you'll follow the same exact steps as we did for our shallot earlier, only this time you're chopping it not nearly as small. I'll also throw in 3 tablespoons of chopped dill pickle, which I'm using my homemade pickles from my pickle video. Toss in 1/3 of a cup of crispy jalapeno chips. I'm using this like discount Pringles version because it's all I could find. 1/4 of a cup of chopped apples, which I'm using a Honeycrisp apple here, and to cut it, all you'll do is slice off all the cheeks from the apple and then give it both vertical and horizontal cuts, and that's it. Half a cup of fresh corn. I'm using canned because it's easier and less of a mess. Half a cup of frozen peas and 1 can of tuna that's been drained. Now with the humble spoon, get to work and start mixing this sucker. Once it's been fully mixed, it should look something like this. I'll then pour our dip into a small bowl and then lay down some decorative blue corn chips, as well as some leftover toppings and homemade pickled onions from my pickle video I mentioned earlier. And that's it. You now have Matthew McConaughey's tuna dip. Taste-wise, it's actually really good. The apples, peas, and corn give it a nice little crunchy texture, and the wasabi is actually phenomenal in it. I do personally think it needed a little salt or soy sauce mixed in there as well, but I would imagine Matthew McConaughey adds that in as well. He just might have forgotten to mention that during the podcast. But that's it. You have 3 quick tuna recipes that turn boring tuna into an absolutely amazing meal in under 10 minutes. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. If you got any questions or want to throw me a compliment, I'll see you in the comment section below. If you want to see last week's video where we made a honey butter chicken biscuit. You can find the link right here. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day.